And welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Storytime with Mikey. This is episode 32. And once again, I want to talk about my grandmother and the things she put me through. When I was 8 years old, we had a argument about something. I can't quite remember what it was. I just know that it was something stupid, as it always was. And my grandmother's response to this, being in her mind completely rational, was to take me by the arm, forcibly yank me outside, out the door, and lock me outside for 5 hours in the middle of summer when the temperature outside was right around 105 degrees. No sunscreen, no water. I'm in sweatpants. Now, I understand that when children misbehave, even if both parties are at fault, both can acknowledge fault. And punishment and discipline are important things for children to learn, to understand why what they did was wrong. But there's a big difference between discipline and abuse. And as far as I'm concerned, and I'm sure many people will agree, taking a child forcibly by the arm and yanking them outside and locking the door so they have no way back in to get away from the heat, is by locking them outside for 5 hours while you're inside the house with a comfortable couch, air conditioning, and wonderfully cold water. I was getting nauseous when I was out there. I was out there so long in the heat. I was sunburned. I was getting sick to my stomach from nausea. Heat illness is very bad for people, especially if you're a child or if you're an old person, a person whose body can't handle high temperatures. And when you're outside as a child, the temperature is 105 degrees on a sunny day, not a cloud in the sky, and you're out there unprotected for 5 hours in long pants. I think you can understand why when I finally got back inside, I was shaking because I was so sick. I was shaking. And some people might watch this and say, well, that's just discipline. You should know better. You were 8 years old. You should know better. Respect your granny. That's not discipline. That's not punishment. That is abuse. If I had been out there any longer, I could have gotten terribly more sick. I could have gotten worse than what I already was. There's a reason why, to this day, I don't like going outside. I practically live inside. All my shopping is done online, whether it's for food, house supplies, or for things for this channel. Everything I buy online, because I hate going outside as much as possible. I only go out when I actually absolutely have to go out. And again, you watch this entire playlist, this entire series, 85% of the episodes are about her and her behavior. This is the woman that used to chase me with knives. This is the woman that took this finger right here and bent it back as far as she could without it breaking. This is the woman that smacked me so hard once that the welts in the shape of her hand were on my face. This is a woman that mentally tormented me, saying that I'm the reason why her husband died, blaming me for the man who loved me with all his heart, my grandfather. She blames me for her life being so miserable. But yet, the reason I lived with her is because she insisted, because my mother needed mental help. My mother needed help getting off of drugs and alcohol, and she needed counseling. She couldn't take care of me, so my mother gave me to her mother, assuming that, as grandmothers are, she would be nice, loving, and tender. No. I lived with my grandparents from the time I was 5 until I was 18, and I left because I could not handle my grandmother anymore. My grandfather died when I was 14. And after that, she just got worse and worse and worse. And this is why, if you were to look on my walls, there's not one picture of my grandmother hanging on any of these walls in any places in this apartment. But there is a picture there and a picture there of my grandfather. Because I loved him. He kept me safe, he protected me, and he loved me. I can't bear to look at my grandmother. I do have a picture of her. She gave it to me for this past Christmas. It's in the closet because I cannot bear to look at her. I cannot stand to look at that picture. So it is locked in the closet all the way in the back, so I don't have to see it when I have to go in the closet to get things. I make it no secret that I'm a victim of abuse, that for the time I was 5 until I was 18, I was abused horribly. I make it no secret that I have trauma, that she is the source of my depression, my anxiety disorder, and why I've been tested for PTSD. Because I still have dreams of her in the dreams. And it's always, the dream never ends well. It always ends in a negative way whenever she's in the dream. And I have tried to move on. I've tried to forgive her, but to this day, she still insists on getting mad at everyone and everything